Hello and welcome to episode 20 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough here with the Iron Teeth faction in cycle 35, day 12. Last time, we started moving industry upstairs, as it were, and we have some degree of functional production occurring up here. It's not entirely independent to the point of removing stuff down here yet, but we are getting close, friends. And we've got improvements in our wood situation. We've got plenty of these oak trees ready to go down here. They are, in fact, marked for cutting before anybody asks. But we're looking good. Looking good. We just have to continue on building more of our industry up here and decide once and for all whether or not we're going to add another layer on top of all of these. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I want to add another layer. I think we're going to be just fine as it is now with our 480 capacity. We could always add a little bit right to an even 500, but I think that's going to be pretty good. So part of what today is going to focus on is getting more of this stuff built, because there's still a decent bit to take care of. And then also bringing in this area with the same design as our main industrial area over here with these overhangs, because this side is going to be where all of the food goes. So we've, like I said, got quite a lot of work to do here. We also have the option of potentially putting some of these overhangs on this side of our reservoir, but I don't know that we're going to need to do that. Our main goal, I think, should be to try and make sure that we have everything set up to start increasing the beaver population and improving the rest of what we've got going on down here. Remember, I did say that we were going to flatten the land out a little bit and then grow some more food, get stuff situated, so on and so forth. I asked you guys last time to tell me how you thought about putting in some other stuff over here in a stair-stepped fashion, specifically to do something like this. And a lot of you liked the idea. Some of you were very vocally opposed to that, which is also fine. Like to consider all the points of view before we make a decision like that. But I think I'm going to give it a little bit more thought. Maybe do this part next episode or something. Because some of you said stepping down is fine, some of you said it's not, and here's why. It gave some pretty good reasons. But if the alternative to that, stepping down, is just to have everything at the same height, that's going to end up looking pretty silly. If this is at the exact same height here. The alternative for me, I think, would be, could we keep it at, say, for example, this height, just so they don't start building that. Well, it's the middle of the night. They're not going to do it anyway. But this height all the way over here, would that be possible? And that probably would look. There we go. English language is easy, said no one ever. I can't imagine how hard it is for people who didn't grow up learning it. Now, that's always the thing, right? Like, I meet somebody online who's not from an English-speaking country and has learned it either as a child or an adult or whatever. They say, oh, I'm sorry for my terrible English. Like, you speak better English than people that I grew up with. Like, come on, man. You're doing a great job. It's a really hard language. It's super hard. So I cannot imagine how hard that is for people to learn. If it's hard enough for people who grew up immersed in it to use, quote-unquote, everything correctly. Anyway, language is a social construct. Everything evolves. Life goes on. We need to start replacing these things with the same kind of setup here. But before we do that, I do want to give them a little bit of a chance to catch up on the log situation, because we do have plenty of wood sitting down here ready to go. So we're going to let them take care of that. But we can go ahead and start placing things down, even if they're not going to be building them immediately. So I will take these wheels away, because they all have to go away. This one in the back, actually. Because I put this specific overhang in while we were building all of this mess, so I probably don't want to take that out. But that is a non-standard thing compared to this, just so we're all on the same page there. But I'm going to go ahead and replace that guy right here with a 6x and pause it. It's so much easier for me to do this one at a time so I don't get in a place where I'm losing track of what I've already done, or spacing especially. And we have this area over here. These overhangs don't need to be here anymore, but there's also not really a compelling reason to get rid of them, so I probably won't. Just to be perfectly honest with you. Oh, they started building. This is why I pause everything. No, 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 don't demolish it. I had my finger on the wrong button. I hate it when that happens. But I'm not going to build over the reservoir quite yet, because I think what might need to happen here, depending on how we can get stuff put in, we might need to just build our flywheels down here first. Which, yes, those require a whole lot of materials that we do not really have right now. So that's about the size of it now. We also need to turn the mine back on because we are out of scrap metal. And the amount of metal that we are going to be needing is, well, it's greater than 7 for probably a single one of those overhangs. So, yeah, absolutely get those things going again. But seeing how this is operating up here now, I'm going to not get rid of, but I'm going to decommission these 3 buildings. That's going to give us a little bit more of an opportunity to have everybody gainfully employed. You remember, you see this 32 here, and I know there's at least a couple of you who are freaking out. They're like, oh, you got so many beavers, good jobs. It's okay, because the builders' huts were always designed to soak up extra beavers. We've got 9 builders outside of the district center, and we have 4 of these builders' huts. I'm sorry, 5 that are completely... Well, math is hard, and now they've gone home, so the lights got turned off, so now I'm not entirely sure, but we're doing okay. That's the main thing, is that we're doing okay. We also, we have this one wood workshop. I don't know why I can't speak today. Well, I got a pretty good idea. It's because I've been feeling terrible for the past week. But Throat Coat Tea, not a sponsor, out of a very nice mug. Does help a little bit. I'm doing my best. Trying to get this stuff out. I know we missed a couple this weekend, and that is unfortunately something that I had to do because of that and other circumstances. But I am absolutely trying my best to get stuff going here. I know we got a lot to catch up on. But now we've got a lot of logs, and of course our problem is going to be the metal block situation. We do have 2 of these smelters, so every 4 hours we'll get 2 metal blocks. Yeah, that's not going to cut the mustard when we're dealing with all this, especially if we're using the metal for other purposes, which right now I don't think is the case. But we did go through a whole lot of it all at once. So it's one of those things that's just going to take some time. But for us to be able to build stuff like, say, these wind tunnels, we're going to have the metal platforms that take 90 metal blocks apiece. So, yeah, we're not doing that anytime soon. I know I said we were going to try our best to get that going this episode, but it might not end up happening. So, we do have a couple of options here. Because remember, I did say that I wanted to have all the metal production over in the corner where the mine is. So we've got to decide what that's going to mean. And because of the way that I put these things in, remember, I can't build on top of the nub for the water wheels. I can't even put a platform on top of them. It's got to have an overhang. So if I'm going to have something coming out this side, then it's going to have to be on top of another set of overhangs. Or I just have gaps, which I don't personally really want to have. But you know how this goes. You know how it goes. So we've just got to make a decision on what's going to make the most sense for us. Now we can go ahead, since we have a lot of, well, relatively a lot of wood, we can have everything with the exception of the nubs be covered with just the regular platforms. Aside from requisite here, put this on top of here because something has to go there. So I think that might end up being the way to go about this. So in the interest of actually accomplishing something, let's take a second here. I know it drives you guys nuts, some of you, not all of you, but it drives some of you nuts when I hit pause. Well, let's do it during the day so we can actually see. But I do want to try to plan this out a little bit and see what it is we're going to be able to take care of. Because all of our metal production is going to require pretty much just smelters. So if we take a look at how much this produces, every 2 hours, it's 6 scrap metal. Every hour, 3 scrap metal. These, every 4 hours, consume 2. So every hour, each one of these smelters consumes half of a thing of scrap metal. And every hour, this mine will produce 3. So, in theory, assuming no other use for scrap metal, we would need 6 of them. Not a hard thing to accomplish. And since they are 4 by 2, we would probably, depending on how we have everything else set up, we could get by with using the 5 by 1 overhangs. So the way that that would actually be set up, if we just moved this ladder 1 block over, then it would be all perfect, ready to go. But if we use the 6 by 1s, that would allow us to also have storage hanging off the side. And also, you know, depending on what we want to do with this side here, could also be an option, excuse me. And it might even end up being that we don't need the space over here, where this would be stepping down, and then, you know, that solves that problem real quick. So I think best interest of what we're looking for right here is probably, in this specific location, just to be using the 5 by 1s in a way that's going to allow us to have everything lined up nicely. Now, 6 of these would be 12 blocks. If we go all the way to the corner, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the 12th would be right here. Or if we turned it this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, and that would be here. I honestly kind of like the idea of this being where that would end up. I think we have an opportunity before we start doing too much of that. Well, it's not like we have to wait for it, but I do like the idea of having all of our storage kind of in a convenient spot. If we're not going to be growing anything in this area, then we don't need to have these irrigation barriers either. So we can actually go ahead and remove those, make this process a whole lot easier. Because that's materials that we can use for something else, and it's space that we don't have to plan around. So again, we do have to have something over the top of the nubs, which does elevate things a little bit more than I personally would like, but I don't think it is necessarily a bad thing. Just gotta be smart about it. And we also have to power this, so because of the position of the nubs, it's probably going to be in our best interest to go ahead and have a thing set up here. Kind of like we had before. I think they can, oh, they actually can't. They can't go past the nubs. Well, we'll get it figured out. Won't be a hard thing. We just have to remove the ladder when we get somewhere else. But what I'm going to do here is turn this into a T, and then this will come across, and then I guess, depending on how we want to lay this out, no, I don't think I could come up from behind or below it because of the way that these overhangs would work. You know, maybe this isn't the best way for me to be doing this. Probably isn't, but hey, what else are we going to do about it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. That would give me 12. And then again, if I do the 6 by 1 overhangs, then I can have something else hanging off of it. But in this specific case, I think it's probably okay to just use the 5 by 1s. Although the 6 by 1 does have the advantage of coming out exactly as far as the entrance to the mine. Well, we'll see what happens. Doesn't have to be a difficult scenario by any means. This will just have to get... I guess probably easiest way to do it is just to have this platform lined up here, we can always remove the extra stuff. Well, be alright. And we can't forget that we're going to do this too, but I wanted to get the metal going first before we did that, because it's going to make it so much faster if we have the metal all ready to go. So this now looking okay. How much metal am I going to need if I do the 5x1? Okay, so each of these going to need 120 metal to do the 5x1 overhangs. If I make them 6x1s, then it's another 2 per, so another 12 metal. No, another 24 metal. I just... the 6x1 is going to have extra space, and I don't think we really need to mess with that. But it would be really appealing to have just a single ladder attached to all this stuff. But I already have this set up a certain way. I guess it probably wouldn't be a problem. Do 1, 2, 3. I think that might work. Well, regardless, let's go ahead. We're not really using this power for anything right now anyway, so I don't know why I'm so concerned about it. But that's going to go here. Actually, hold on. I didn't decide if I wanted this to go all the way into the corner. I guess it really doesn't matter. It's probably going to end up going all the way into the corners. So, we don't have universal shafts. Otherwise, I would have just said put a universal shaft here and go straight up and then over. So, unfortunately, we do have to be beholden to all of that stuff. But I think, you know what? I'm going to go with the 5x1s. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. So that'll get us 2 of those right here. Remember, these platforms are only here so I can actually get on top of stuff to build it. And this is the one that's going to get a little dicey, perhaps, depending on how we want to play this. Go ahead and get these logs out of here. Yeah, and then we'll do our upward power shaft. And then a vertical. And then this one will just end up with a downward going into the side. And I think that's going to work. We just have to decide how we want this to be set up with all of our storages. So if I went right here, this would leave... Is that 4? Yeah, it would be 4 deep here, which is plenty larger than both large warehouses and large industrial piles, but I don't think it really matters. I really don't. So let's instead... Let's bring this down to the same level as the mine, I think is what I'm going to go with. These aren't attached to anything, so why don't we... Just trying to think if there's a better way to do this than what I currently have set up. I mean, there probably is, but I also don't think I really need to be worried about it. Double dynamites. All the way to bring these down, and then I think I'm actually going to build the land up underneath it, because I don't think we're going to ever need to do anything over here, besides what we're currently doing. Just doing what we can. It's always what we end up doing. So I wonder why they haven't built this vertical power shaft yet. I guess they're just busy with other stuff. But if there's going to be a good way to get a ladder up there. I guess there really isn't. Unless I wanted to have this go straight up and then connect over this way. Now that would be kind of dumb. They don't need to go directly to the mine anyway because we're going to have so much storage over here. This is just its own thing. Alright, so nobody walk on this, alright? Cool. Alright, that works. So, underneath this will come out to here. So if I have... this whole thing set up, I'm going to have room for 1, 2, I think I want to go 3 wide. Oh, which actually would take up more space than the overhang has. So maybe I don't need 3 wide. Maybe 2 wide is fine. Yeah, because I'm not going to keep this ladder here, because it's going underneath too much stuff. So that would be... I mean, it would give me a little bit of extra space to put in something like a water tank or something, but I don't think we're going to need to worry about that. Or maybe I just suck it up and have it not match. Would that be such a terrible thing for me to do? To have something that doesn't match? I don't know. I don't know, but I think what I want to do before I go too much further is I do want to get all of these overhangs in. So we can have everything fully taken care of. Just make sure this all fits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. I can do math sometimes. So if we have 6 of these, that means this currently, this ladder is slightly to the right of the center because, of course, you're not going to be able to go directly down the middle of an even number of blocks. It's not a bad location to have a ladder to go up, but if I have that in that specific spot, then anything on this side wouldn't really be doable. Well, regardless, this set of ladders does have to move. Even if I just move it back a little bit, probably wouldn't be the worst thing ever. So I guess that's what we'll end up doing. Yeah, because this goes here. That would be 3 if I centered that. That would be another 3. I don't know. I feel like I'm overthinking it. Somewhere there's someone screaming at their computer, yes, you are overthinking it. I want you to know that you are seen and I value you. But at some point we're just going to have to do it, you know? So we don't quite have enough metal blocks yet to get these overhangs finished, but won't take too long. And I am going to go ahead and move this to here. Yeah, let's just move that out one more. Bring this in like so. You know what? That might even be a good excuse just to do it like this so we have all this stuff in the same spot. This whole thing right here is just going to be industrial piles, industrial piles, industrial piles. So I got 2 stacks here. Seems pretty easy to just do either 2 sets of layers or alternating layers or something. Just so we're sure that we have everything taken care of there. And these smelters do also use logs. They don't use a lot, but they do use enough for us to make it worth our while here. So what I will do is I'll put in, because it's also good to just have log storage in general. Put that in there. Should be good. I guess we'll just say metal blocks can be all set to supply. And then scrap metal can be set to receive. Of course, we have to build our structure to actually gain access to this. That's not going to be super hard. Just have to make sure everything is all set up correctly. We'll go ahead and bring this like so. And that is all tucked away underneath here. So we are going to have... Oh, no, I know what we can do. I know what we can do. We can just have this be the ladder here, and then it can come out before it goes up. Actually, should I put another layer on this? I ask before muting my microphone to cough and take a drink of tea. That's definitely how that works. I might as well, honestly. We'll just go ahead and do that. Put these paths in as well. Yeah, so they just have this one left here. And yeah, they're going to be waiting on like the last 3 of them. But not looking too bad. And of course, all of this is going to be all of our logs and all of our planks. Well, maybe not all of them, but it's going to be using a whole lot of them to build all this. But once that's done, we're going to be in good shape. So here's what's going to happen next. We have the opportunity to put in a couple things we could do here. After this is finished, come on, bring me these last 3 metal blocks so we can move on with our lives, please, and thank you. Really expect that to take some time, but we have the overhangs, let's not forget, and after a certain altitude, this isn't flight sim, but I could elevate this just enough to have access to be over the top of this part of the mine, and I could put a large tank here, which would be a very... Did we have a Silly Billy Or am I just, no. No, yes we do. TL Kai. First of all, how did you manage to do that, friend? How did you manage that? Very curious. Well, at any rate, I need to blast... Actually, maybe I don't need to blast, but I'm going to do it anyway. Call me Jimmy Neutron.
Gotta blast!
That movie is 20 years old, I think. How high do I have to get this to go? Oh, 1? Okay, say no more. Say no more, we'll just do that. I'll tell you what. I know, now that this is actually here, let's go down, just because I can. Just because I can. Let's go down 1. And then I'll raise these 2. And then we've got some extra space over here I don't know what to do with. Maybe it could be a good spot to hide some stuff. You guys love that so much. Hide some stuff that will give them some benefits. Well, wow, look at this. That would actually get them pretty well covered here for the workers. So why don't we... Actually, that's going to be too tall, because then I won't be able to put the platform... Alright, please hold. Ha! 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 Alright, okay. Oh, man, that's so broken. Why am I like this? Genuinely, why? Why? There's no reason for this. It's completely uncalled for. But it's still funny. Alright. Beaver statue. Memorialized to the workers, and it's going to be entombed behind all this garbage. Let's actually take a look at our well-being and see what the biggest boost is. I should have done that first. Okay, so the statue is a +2. Well, the clock is also a +2. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, invisible clock. And then... Oh, I forgot this uses metal blocks. Duh. Okay, maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more. Oh, well. Yeah. Here we go, folks. That's going to go great, because we don't need to get under here for any reason. But I do want that beaver statue to be done. So hopefully the metal block situation gets taken care of pretty soon. Stranded beaver. Gonna be stranded for a little while, but you know, you can go home soon. As soon as I build ladders, which we all know that takes 800,000 years. But we'll get it done. Let's get this beaver statue finished, man. Well, they can't get up here yet, so might as well go ahead. That is in the right spot, right? Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and preemptively get this all situated here. By putting the smelters in this orientation, the default one, the ladder will come up exactly in the middle of all the doorways. Not that that matters at all. It's just one of those things that I'm always going to be thinking about, so I might as well do it. Is this done? No. 5 more metal blocks. Okay. So, we have this space here on top of the overhangs. Like I said, great spot for a large tank. So, that's what I'll put here, just because I can. Not really any other reason. There's not a liquid that needs to be stored over here. Unless we do get into bots, then that would be a good place to put maybe grease or something, but... I don't know, because I asked you guys in the comments about bots, and a lot of you said it would be refreshing to have a playthrough without bots, which I agree. But I also kind of have my doubts as to this map being able to support 500 biobeavers without bots to take care of fully optimized farming and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We have the opportunity here to experiment. Okay, so the beaver statue's done. That's what I was actually worried about. Let's come in and do... If I can have my mouse go the correct way, that would help. Oh, you know what? This is also going to have an entrance to... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine to just do one of those kind of numbers. And then because that's going to be a tank, that can go easily here, just like so. Alright, so here's where this gets to be an interesting interesting thing here. I always feel like I have to pause this stuff, but to get up here, we're going to have platform come out. So I had an idea in my head, where one normally has ideas, of how to do this, and now I'm not entirely sure that this is going to work the way that I wanted it to. So we'll see. I'm thinking I might have to do a little bit of a mulligan here on how I have this set up, unless I did this. So if I have this set up, sorry, I'm trying my best. Oh, that's off center though. That's not acceptable. So instead of doing that, yeah, let's immediately get rid of that nonsense. It's gonna have to be on this side for literally no other reason than I just don't want something to be asymmetrical. Stupid reason, I know. But that is gonna allow me to do this. Which, again, there's not really any compelling reason to do this way, but it's fine, I guess. Is there some sort of decoration I can put in here? You're joking. That fits? Shrub doesn't fit. Lantern doesn't fit. Well, I guess that's what's going there, then. But that's basically what's going to go on there. And it's all going to be powered... And that's going to be metal processing, folks. Now, I hear you. I hear you. We don't have enough beavers, but we're working on it. We have the technology. We have the extract. So, if we unlock the advanced breeding pods, I don't really have great spots to put those yet, so I'm just going to, slap 3 of those right there. And that is what we are going to do. So, it's probably going to take them a decent amount of time to actually build this. So I will time-lapse this, try to get a little bit more stuff done. And then we will see how stuff is looking for us to continue doing the rest of our industrial building. But this stuff always takes time, so I wanted to make sure that we were able to get that done. And I'll see you after the time-lapse is over. Okay, so our metal area is now complete. Obviously, we don't have enough beavers to really fully staff this right now. But right now, the smelter, and well, all of these together, are capable of fully processing everything that's coming out of our efficient mine. So that's exciting. And that also means that soon we'll be able to turn our attention to building over here. So, first of all, a bunch of you guys mentioned this in the comments. That one irrigation barrier was missing, and that was probably having a whole lot to do with why these berry bushes were dying. So, I'm going to take care of that. I think that probably should do it. I guess we'll see what happens. But as a reminder, we do have the advanced breeding pods about to pop out in adult beavers, which is objectively horrifying, but still total normal iron teeth behavior. So we'll just let it be what it's going to be. And I think what would be a nice thing for us to do for the rest of this episode would be to get these overhangs rocking and rolling here, unpause, get, of course, everything else popped in as well. Why is this? Ah, that's right. It's our friend the Forester. I said this was going to be a problem, but I haven't done anything about it. Well, pardon my hacking and coughing and dying over here. But we will eventually get this guy moved somewhere else. I think, I don't know for sure, but I think it will fit underneath if it's just one block lower. But I also know that if it's one block lower, it's not going to have as much reach. So what's probably going to happen here is I'm going to have to put in a bunch more dirt, and then we will end up unplanting these. And this guy's just going to have to move slightly out of range so he can peacefully exist while everybody else is doing stuff. But so that's going to go there. This is going to have to be our 3x1s like before. And then right here, I mean, I guess I could do 2x1s. But, you know, I think it's just a little superfluous for us to be worrying about that back here. So I will just go ahead and put in all of this mess all the way across here and just make sure everything is good to go. And then we're just going to have to sit here and watch them build some stuff. I know that's something everybody enjoys, watching a good time lapse. So we'll just get a little bit more of this set up, and then I will turn that time lapse machine on, and we'll be able to make some pretty good headway here pretty quick, I think. So, as you're watching now, they are hopefully building this stuff. And we'll, of course, make adjustments during the time lapse that you won't hear me narrate directly. But they'll get this stuff set up, and then if we have time at the end of this one, we will go ahead and start moving the food processing up here. Figure out where our ladder is going to connect and everything. I don't think that's going to be too terribly difficult. We'll just have to be thoughtful about it and get everything all taken care of. The good thing about the food is the buildings are a lot smaller, right? You have the 2x2 for your oil processing. You have the 3x3 with the benefit of the second level power transference across a path if you have to when you're messing with the food processors. And then you have the 3x1s for the fermenters. So, and of course you also have the 3x3 for the hydroponic farms, but those are probably fine where they are. I don't need to worry about it. Other than that, I mean, you got coffee, but that's fine. It shouldn't be too hard for us to put something in that's going to be somewhat efficient space-wise. It might look a little weird, but we will get stuff figured out, and hopefully in a fashion that will allow us to have some pretty good success on food processing. But enough of me yapping about it. Let's finish watching them do it, and then I will catch you on the other side. All right, so as we come out of our drought here and enter cycle 37, you probably saw at least one thing that would have made you say, wow, this guy's an idiot during that time lapse. Probably what would have tipped most of you off was I put the terrain blocks in backwards, and I was wondering, why haven't they built any terrain blocks? Well, it turns out if they can't access the side they're supposed to access, they can't build it. So that was addressed. I'm going to go ahead and put this forester moved over here, and then we are finally going to be able to put in the last overhang here to get this all tied together nicely. And I actually suspect there's not a lumberjack flag that can reach over here. So let's just, for right now, pop one more of those right there and let them do what they're supposed to do. You also probably noticed that I don't have any power backup, any gravity batteries or flywheels yet, although we will soon. And I don't have any way of connecting the power from here to down here, which is entirely my fault. Should not have done it that way, but I did. So that's why these were all paused, because, well, you know, there was no power going to them. But now, friends, now we're all done. So that can all get paused, and then I can unpause all of this. And I will do all of these, with the exception of, you know what? Wood workshop, we do need to get those going again, so that'll get all taken care of. I have 28 vacancies, 12 incapacitated beavers. We do still have the medical beds, for those of you wondering. I have not moved those yet. I have to figure out some sort of a good way of handling that. But we will, at some point, get that taken care of. We also, at some point, when I feel like we have enough resources to justify doing it, put in our contamination barriers here. It just hasn't been a problem yet. And I'm surprised nobody's brought this up. But, you know, you peel back the layers of this cake here. I don't have a single one of these swimming pools actually operating yet. It is astounding to me that no one has commented on this. It's actually super funny. So, and we also have this second fluid dump right now. While I'm not going to build them right now, I wanted to, like, acknowledge that, yes, this is a problem that does need to be solved. I just have not done that yet. But we will, at some point, put the swimming pools in. Again, it's just a matter of resources. I've got all of these planks that have to go to everything else, and I do mean everything else, that have not been finished. Like, look at all this. These platforms, and then I've got this, all these water wheels, and of course these things still haven't been done yet. But we're getting to the point where it's going to be about time to end the episode anyway. So what I wanted to try and do is at least have some sort of semblance of how this is going to be laid out as we continue moving forward here in terms of food stuff. So, like I said, you got the fermenter, you got the oil press, and you got the food factory. That's your major stuff that we're going to have to deal with. And the way that this is currently set up, we have an opportunity to take advantage of the space that's available to us here. And I think in this specific spot, I'm going to hit pause so they don't actually start building this, but this is like a golden opportunity right here to make good use of how this is laid out. So if I were to do, say, just like right here, put those 4 in, what that's going to allow me to do is then come in here with the food factory, line that up just perfectly with the nub right there. And we have space here to put a large warehouse for any manner of the things that we are attempting to mess with here, or a large tank for canola oil if we feel so inclined, depending on how we want to split things up. Remember that right now, for a population of about, well, now it's almost 150, but we had 1 each mushroom, soybean, cassava fermenting for almost this entire playthrough at this point, and it has not been a problem. But our goal is to have like 500 beavers. So we take a look at how the rates of production on this stuff go. Each beaver on normal mode will have 2 food per day. They're not going to have any problems keeping up with all this stuff. Let's just do some basic math. Assuming, for right now, 18-hour workdays, which is what we're doing. If we're doing cassavas on this fermenter, that is, again, assuming 100% efficiency and nothing has to get brought in while it's out or whatever, 9 cycles of 10 fermented cassava apiece. So you're going to have 90 fermented cassava. That's going to feed, assuming beavers would only eat that, 45 beavers per day. Now, there's other food and stuff that they're going to be messing with as well. But if we had all 4 of these that I've currently put in, working on doing cassavas, then that would be 360 cassava per day. All the beavers are not going to eat cassava every day, so that's probably more than enough if we have a population of 500 beavers. But, of course, we also want to make sure we're doing the fermented soybeans and the fermented mushrooms and all that other stuff, and that has much higher yields. So, long story short, I think having these 4 right here dedicated to maybe not even cassava, I don't know, but just these 4 right here, the point I was trying to make, should be just fine as they are. Just have this laid out like so, connected nice and easily here, and then I've got space to put in a storage here, and then if I want to have other stuff come over this way, then I can. What I can also do, remember, like we'd done before, is put in overhangs, right, like so, like we'd done on this side. These are the 3x1 overhangs. So if we were to do that, say put this right here, then I could no longer put in a storage in this exact spot. I would have to have some sort of platforms on top of this. So, okay, let's just pretend like that's a thing. Right there like that. So I've got this kind of dead space here, which isn't really going to want to play nice with much of anything, except if, for example, we were to take this out and put in a furniture here. If I can use the correct key on my keyboard. Now I've got 5, which for right now probably is actually enough for us to operate on. So if we did that, and then I came over here in the corner and I put, get that path out of the way. I put this guy in right like so. Now, all of a sudden, we have access to a whole bunch of storage up here. And we have the finished foodstuff storage all over here. I don't think that's going to be a problem. None of this is going to be super far away. So if we focused our storage up here on the raw materials, then I think that would be a wise decision. So if we were to do that, and I know this isn't going to line up super perfectly, amazingly well, and that's just the way it goes. But raw material wise, I've got a 1200 cassava storage. I think, yeah, this whole thing over here, this is going to get removed. It was great to have it while we did, but we don't need it anymore. So that's going to go away. And instead, the raw stuff we're working on will all be right here. And again, it's going to end up not all being in the same exact spot that you might want it to be, but it's going to be okay. We'll survive. So cassava can go there. I've guessed soybeans can go right there. And again, this is all... How many times am I going to say again? This is all stuff that's just going to take time, as we always love to say. So that is just how it is. So this is all the storage for these things right here. I've got the access with the ladder right there. So that's fine. This will be connected. This is already connected there. That's okay. I've got a little bit of space for storage here. But this is going to have to be a water wheel thing. So I don't really know exactly what we're going to be going on doing here. But I think what's going to happen for this to make the most possible sense. Oh, I made a boo-boo. I'm going to have to redo this. That is an absolute blunder, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, that's a huge shame. So I remember way back when I quote-unquote designed this absolute affront to humanity here. I didn't think that I was going to have anything connected on this side. Well, it turns out that was incorrect. So instead, what I get to do is I get to redo all this. That's fine. I know the game is still paused. Please be patient with me. I'm doing my best. So, what I'm going to do here is, because we have this power right here, and these are 2x2 buildings, guess what? I can just pop them right there. Problem solved. And, well, I'm not going to be able to fit another powered building in here. I do have the ability to just leave this just in case. Just in case I can put something else there. But now I've got a little bit of space here I can, I don't know, maybe figure out something to do with. But I've got the oil presses all ready to go. 2 of them, honestly, for what we're doing, probably should be fine. I just have to have somewhere to put a tank for the... why is the game still paused? I don't need it to be paused anymore. But this small tank right here for oil probably is going to have to work right now. But hopefully you can see what I'm getting at here, is that there's ways to squeeze this in. It might not be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but we're going to make it work. You better believe we're going to make it work. So because these are all connected on the back, or they will be, we don't actually have to have all of these food factories centered on the nubs. I just like it when it looks that way. So probably what's going to happen here is we're just going to put food factories side by side. We only, well, for 500 we might need more than 3, but for right now we can start with that. Just put 3 of these guys right here, back to back to back, or side to side to side. And they're going to have access to the raw ingredients. And then, of course, all of the, what's it called? Oil. Yeah, there you go. But, we will get there. We will get there, even if it kills me. So let's make sure that doesn't happen, first of all. And second of all, just remember to put in these ladders every so often. But that is going to be what these guys are going to be doing, and I know it's probably absolutely incredibly frustrating to see this the way that it is, unbuilt, unorganized, lacking a direction, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's really cool to finally be getting into this. So I appreciate your patience as we move forward with all of this fun stuff here. Put this as corn rations, eggplant rations, algae rations. You know the drill. This is still close enough that is not a problem whatsoever. And then, actually, no, this needs to be raw corn. Why am I like this? Eggplant. There we go. Well, it's not built yet, so it doesn't matter. But now the only things that we don't have production facilities for up here are coffee. And, yeah, that's it. Everything else doesn't have to be processed. So, in theory, we've got, quote-unquote, extra space. Like, you and I both know that's not the case. We're going to need to have more of this going on. But this single coffee thing right here has managed to keep the coffee tank full. So, as the number of beavers increases, that obviously won't be the case, or won't remain the case. But the time will come when all of this is perfect and wonderful, and there is no more complaining, and that will be a glorious and beautiful day. When I say no more complaining, I'm not like trying to call people out. Like, please understand that is not my intent here. But in terms of like the beavers saying they don't have any food, so this is pretty good if you ask me. The only change I might make is to, instead of this large warehouse here, because they're not going to have this built anytime soon anyway, if I moved all of the warehouses over one, and then in the center of this, I just have to remember to change this over before I get too carried away here. Yeah, center of that, then we have a nice big tank of canola oil. Set that to obtain. And, that way it's, a little symmetrical. Not too bad looking. So now we've got this extra space here, which I'm sure we'll use at some point, but for right now can just be kind of left alone. And we can leave the beavers to their devices and say goodbye for this episode. I know, got a lot of cool stuff done today. Still a lot of progress left to be made, but I think we can feel pretty good about what we've accomplished. I know there's a lot of comments that have suggested things I just haven't gotten to yet. I've not ignored you. The process is what the process is, and we will get to stuff in due time if I feel like it's something that is going to benefit our playthrough. So, all that being said, really, really appreciate you watching these videos, Beard Boosters, for all of your support, of course. Thank you very much for your patience as we work through me trying to figure out what's going on and take some time to rest my voice a little bit. Figure out how I'm going to move forward with stuff, but, the show must go on, so I think it generally is trending better, but obviously still got a little bit of healing left to do, so hopefully taking the time off this weekend helped a little bit. If not, then, oh well, it had to be done anyway, had other stuff come up. But I'm trying my best to make sure we can get back to a normal schedule. Live streams just as soon as I can talk for more than an hour, or I can make a video without having to pause and make cuts while I'm hacking and all that stuff. But appreciate you. I already said it, but I'll say it again. Very glad we get to do this together. Let's hope we've got plenty more to come. Well, there's plenty more to do, but, take every day as you have it, because you're never guaranteed the next one. Appreciate you, friends. Take care. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.